Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. In today's video we're taking a look at the second member of the Unique Toys Ragnaros series. It's the M-02 Gahz'ranka. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I was informed yesterday that these names are taken from the World of Warcraft. So there you go, you learn new things every day. This is of course Unique Toys' take on the Combaticon Swindle, and he is lovely. He is basically torn from the animation. He really does have a striking resemblance to his animation counterparts. Now, he is not perfect. If I could change anything, I would change this cannon. It's probably the least G1 animation accurate cannon. It's just not right. It's close, but no cigar. This, on the other hand, this is fantastic. I've seen some of the original drawing concepts for Swindle, and this is pretty much spot on. Now we get this, and we get one of these as well, which allows us to put adapters in and chop and change. We can just pop this off, pop this on here, and now he has a large gun that he can pew pew people with. There you go. Swindle always looks so happy. They do have some nice light piping on the top of his head. There seems to be a very torn response to light piping. The kind of European market love light piping, whereas kind of the US and Canadian market, they don't seem to like it. They kind of want rid of it. So what do the third-party companies do? Do they keep it? Do they get rid of it? Anyway, light piping aside, this is probably one of the best sculpts I've seen from Unique Toys. It's a very good attempt at capturing his kind of swagger. He is the Del Boy of the Decepticon army. It's a very good looking expression there. They've done a good job. This is personally one of my favourite locations for the cannon, kind of doing his very own Galvatron impression there. I like that they've included lots of these different slots for the gun to sit in. Now, unfortunately, I know a lot of people would like the shoulder mount option for this guy. I can't see anywhere where that could be located though. I mean, they could have got away with it if they just put a groove in here, then that could have just slotted on. I know a lot of people kind of like that look to him. I don't really think we can get away with placing this section in anywhere for it to be stable, at least. I mean, you could probably balance it on there like so, but of course you want there to be some sort of stability with your accessories. Now, I saw 60 compare these two figures in his latest photo shoot, Jeep to Jeep. It's a good comparison. It gives you an idea of just how he's going to scale with some of the kind of smaller Voyager sized masterpiece figures. I keep bending his crotch section down. I don't know whether that's meant to be located at the base here or whether we're meant to kind of raise it up. It's on a hinge, so we can raise it up and position it how we see fit, but I have seen images of him having it right down there, but it looks way too much like a crotch plate in my opinion. Then when we lift it up here, it looks a little bit like he's got a belly going on, so it's neither here nor there. But again, that is pretty darn accurate to the cartoon. If we add the Jinbao oversized Warbatron Swindle into the mix, you can see he is smaller than his counterparts, and I'm having a great time at the moment with breaking my figures. The wheel snapped off the Jinbao Swindle, so awesome. As it is, I just have him in leg mode, but I'm kind of a little bit bummed by that because it was only a week ago that his windscreen fell off. I'm not overly heavy-handed. I just think I'm jinxed. I'm not allowed nice figures in my collection without them breaking. Here's alongside their Brawl. Absolutely love this figure, even if his foot oh dear. They look great together, don't they? And of course MP10, just to show how he scales. It's a good height. I mean, that's top of the kind of abdomen area. I feel like that's a really appropriate size. The only trouble I have with this guy is when we bring in Starscream. When he's alongside Starscream, I think he just looks a fraction too small. There's not a lot in it, and to be honest with you, that's just me nitpicking. I mean, they look fantastic together, but that small fraction there, that bothers me. Size really does matter. Let's just get in closer and just take a look at how good Swindle actually looks. I really do love what they did with this guy. Some people may say he's too clean and too minimalistic, but I personally, I really love that look about him. I think it just screams animation accuracy to me, and I mean, that's what we want from our masterpiece figures, surely. Before we get him transformed up, let's just take a look at Swindle's articulation. The head can look up and down. That's a very nice downward motion there. Left and right. We can't really tilt the head. The shoulders are on a friction joint going round. They're on a soft ratchet going upwards, much the same as what we got with their Brawl. Again, there's probably a couple of clicks in there. There is a rotation on a mushroom peg on the elbow there, and the bend is just above 90 degrees coming down to the wrists. There's a nice rotation there, and the fingers are all pinned on a single pin, but these three are joined and the pointing finger is separate. The waist can rotate quite nicely dependent on where you have this section positioned. If it's at the crotch level, you've got a nice free range of motion there. If you decide to have it slightly higher up, kind of in the belt area, then it can't move. It's just not designed to be there, I don't think. But at the same time, having it raised up to this position does allow us to get a nice range of motion on that thigh, on a nice soft ratchet there. Friction joint coming out to the side. There's an upper thigh rotation in there. Very nice bend on that knee, and coming down to the feet, there is a rocker there, and we can flip out the extended heel spur if needed. You don't need it, he's very well balanced, and the feet can go forwards and backwards. The mounting on this foot is different to what we got with Brawl. This is just a screw that goes through. There's no peg involved, so hopefully I shouldn't break it. This time we can actually fold away the hands, even though I've cut my nails and now I can't get that in right. Just make sure the fists are closed, bend those up and fold those away. Well, the chest section, rotate that around and bring that up like so, and that's going to form the bonnet section. Your head is on a slider, just slide that section back and grab this whole rear section, lifting this up, and we now reveal the dash section for the car, and in return just push this section up. That's going to lift all the way up, and if you look underneath here, there is the real grille. So this section here is a completely false grille, which I think is incredible. Fold these sections inwards, just move those to the side, flip this section up and over, do that for both sides, and then bring this bumper section up on this rolling hinge to the front, and bring the side of the bumper down on both sides. Come to the underside again, and with these sections moved, you can see there's a rocking hinge here. You want to bring this entire shoulder section forward, and then rotate these sections round, bring this section down, and that's going to fold in on itself. And as we're folding in, we have to make sure that this angle here is perfectly flat, not like that or anything. It has to be perfectly flat, and then we can fold this section in, and these two here are going to fold in and tab together. We can then roll the wheels downwards like so and come around There's these two tabs here. They're going to plug into the front of the grille, and this tab here and this tab here are going to plug into the corresponding holes on the underside of the hood. And tab those in like so, and just straighten up the front bumper. Come down to the legs, and you want to just untab this section at the back like so. Fold that down. That now allows this whole section here to shift, and it kind of all untabs. If you bring back this foot section, this section here kind of rock backwards. Bring the foot out to the side like so. That allows us to straighten up this section here. Once it fold this section over like so, and this is going to form the seats. Rotate this section around so that it's facing on the inside, and this here is going to collapse. And as this comes in, we have a large tab here. It's going to correspond with this hole here. This here tilts upwards, and this section here forms the back of the seats. Let's just slide that in, tab that into place, and slide and just push these sections here in. The toes then rotate all the way around and then compress back on themselves, forming the base of the seat. Come to the next section, just untab that. You want to give this a spin. The head is now going to dip down in between those legs. Bring this section over, and as we bring that in, these will tuck in just on the inside of here. And as we bring this section over, that's just going to tuck in to the rear of the truck. There's a lot of tabs to get tabbed in here, but once it's in, it's nice and tied in. This is a very stiff hinge here, but it does actually bend back on itself, and when it does, you can just bend that back, and we can just tab that in with the wheel now on the back. And last but not least, we come to the underside, and we can just bring these sections and tab them in to the front. That's what it all looks like underneath. Very tidy indeed, and that's what it looks like on top. Absolutely spot on. And finally, the positioning of the rockets on the back is entirely dependent on what the user wants, but I love this. This is a really nice Jeep mode. Yes, there's not a great deal going on in the actual front of the vehicle, but I like how these folded over to the seats. They've actually got a kind of a leathery feel to them. You've got your gear knob in there and your handbrake. It's nice, and it rolls very well indeed. What a really fantastic alt mode. Oh dear, I really do need to make an attempt at fixing Willis, don't I? The poor little guy's kind of falling apart, so I just need to get the windscreen out and fix that back in. I do like that these both have rubber wheels as well. They are definitely in scale. They've done that very in keeping, although I do actually prefer Swindle over Hound any day. And here he is alongside the oversized Jimbo Warpatron Swindle, who still missing that wheel, but he became a Humvee, didn't he, like the Hummer, because the US Army changed their vehicle, but definitely prefer the Jeep. I believe that's a Jeep Willie still, isn't it? Right, now to get him transformed up into his foot mode, as you can see, I've detached the bonnet section here. Just unpeg these little bits here, and you want to just pry this section apart slightly, because there's a slit just on either side here. And what we do, we bring the foot in, and we need to slide these pegs in either side like so. I mean, it's not the easiest of things, to say the least, but once you get one side in, the other side should, he says, be relatively straightforward. There we go. Just close these sections off on both sides. Come around to the bonnet section, and you want to fold this in and this in, hold that under like so, as if you're turning it back into a robot mode. Close that section off, close that section off, bring the toe down, bring this section down. That's just going to tab back in like so, lift that up, come around to the seats. You want to collapse those down. You can just push the steering wheel flat and then bring the windscreen section back, tabbing that like so, and then we can just bring these weapons in and tab those in like so. Untab the tyre, and you want to just bring that round to the back, and that's the slot which goes into Onslaught. And here he is fully transformed up into his leg mode. Then there's a little bit more involved in that leg transformation than there was with Brawl, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a very nice slim look to him, and again that's very reminiscent of his G1 animation counterpart. I really do hope they do something about this joint here. I hope they turn it into a ratchet, but I mean, from that point there you get to see what sort of tilt we'll be dealing with. There's no clearance issues there whatsoever, and we've got that nice tilt backwards. Not really able to get any tilt forwards on this joint due to the bonnet being where it is. I suppose we could always untab that bonnet and lift it over the toe if necessary, but besides that, it's a very slim, very sleek, very tidy looking leg. And again, here it is, scale wise, he's going to look incredible, isn't he? Once again, thanks to the guys at Robot Kingdom for making this review possible. I highly recommend him. He's made from a very sturdy plastic. Unique Toys are really killing it with these guys. I love them. Even with my broken foot on Brawl, they are still very nice toys. And please remember, these are only test shot samples. The final product will likely be even better. Thank you all for watching. If you want these products, I've included a link in the description below. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share and subscribe. And until next time, from myself and Gahz'ranka, or Gahz'ranka, Swindle, goodbye.